In March 2022, hackers stole $600 million in cryptocurrency in just 2 transactions. The victim: a blockchain bridge that was supposedly unhackable. The perpetrator: North Korea's most elite cyber unit. And here's the most shocking part: nobody noticed for 6 days. This isn't just another crypto hack story. This is about how a nation-state with limited internet access managed to pull off one of the largest digital heists in history, targeting the backbone of decentralized finance. The Ronin Bridge hack didn't just steal money. It exposed fundamental flaws in how we think about blockchain security. While traditional banks have been robbed for millions, this hack proved that in the digital age, the biggest vaults aren't made of steel. They're made of code. And code, as we'll see, can have devastating weaknesses. To understand how this hack happened, we need to understand what Ronin Bridge actually was. Imagine you have money in a bank in New York, but you need to spend it in Tokyo. Normally, you'd need currency exchange and international transfers. Blockchain bridges work similarly. They let you move cryptocurrency between different blockchain networks. Ronin Bridge was specifically built for Axie Infinity, a play-to-earn game that became massively popular, especially in countries like the Philippines, where players could earn real money by breeding and battling digital creatures. At its peak, Axie Infinity had over 2.7 million daily active users, making Ronin Bridge a critical piece of infrastructure, handling hundreds of millions in transactions. The bridge used a system called Validators. Think of them as digital notaries who had to approve transactions. Ronin required 5 out of 9 validators to sign off on any withdrawal. This was supposed to be the security layer that made it unhackable. If hackers wanted to steal funds, they'd need to compromise more than half of these validators simultaneously. Mavis, the company behind Axie Infinity, had implemented multiple security measures: multi-signature wallets, validator rotation, and constant monitoring. On paper, it looked bulletproof. In reality, they had created a single point of failure that would cost them everything. The attackers weren't random criminals looking for quick cash. They were Lazarus Group, North Korea's premier cyber warfare unit, operating under the country's military intelligence agency. This is the same group behind the Sony Pictures hack, the WannaCry ransomware attack, and dozens of other high-profile cybercrimes. What makes Lazarus Group particularly dangerous isn't just their technical skills, it's their patience and resources. Unlike typical cybercriminals who want quick hits, Lazarus Group conducts months-long reconnaissance operations. They study their targets, build detailed profiles, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. For North Korea, cryptocurrency represents something crucial, a way to bypass international sanctions. Traditional banking systems can be monitored and blocked, but cryptocurrency offers a path to convert stolen digital assets into real-world resources. Every successful hack potentially funds the country's weapons programs and keeps the regime operational. Their weapon of choice? Social engineering. Rather than trying to break through technical defenses directly, they target the humans who control those defenses. And in the case of Ronin Bridge, they found the perfect human vulnerability. The attack began months before anyone realized what was happening. Lazarus Group started by targeting Mavis employees through sophisticated spear phishing campaigns. These weren't generic spam emails. They were carefully crafted messages that appeared to come from trusted sources within the gaming and crypto industry. One of their most effective tactics involved creating fake job opportunities. They'd approach Mavis employees on LinkedIn with offers for high-paying positions at legitimate companies. The interview process would involve downloading and running software that was actually malware designed to give hackers access to company systems. Once inside Mavis's network, the hackers began their real work, compromising validator keys. Remember, they needed 5 out of 9 validators to authorize withdrawals. Through their network access, they managed to compromise 4 Mavis validators, but they needed one more. Here's where a seemingly innocent business decision became catastrophic. Mavis had been working with Axie a decentralized, autonomous organization to help with transaction validation during periods of high network traffic. To make this partnership work smoothly, Mavis had been granted permission to sign transactions on behalf of the Axie Validator. This created the exact vulnerability Lazarus Group needed. By compromising Mavis's systems, they effectively controlled 5 validators, their own 4 plus the Axie validator they could sign for. They now had the keys to the kingdom. On March 23, 2022, the hackers made their move. In just 2 transactions, they drained the bridge of 173,600 Ethereum and 25.5 million USDC tokens, worth approximately $600 million at the time. The first transaction alone moved over $300 million, making it one of the largest single cryptocurrency transactions ever recorded. But here's the most incredible part. Nobody noticed for 6 days. The hack was only discovered on March 29th when a user tried to withdraw 5,000 ETH and couldn't complete the transaction. Only then did investigators realize the bridge had been completely drained. How does $600 million disappear without anyone noticing? The answer reveals fundamental problems with how decentralized systems monitor security breaches. Unlike traditional banks that have real-time fraud detection and immediate balance reconciliation, the Ronin Bridge continued to operate normally on the surface. Users could still see their balances, and the website functioned as usual. The bridge's interface didn't immediately reflect that the underlying funds had been stolen. Mavis relied heavily on automated monitoring systems, but these systems weren't configured to detect this specific type of attack. The hackers had used legitimate validator signatures. As far as the system was concerned, these were authorized transactions. There were no failed login attempts, no brute force attacks, no obvious red flags that would trigger security alerts. This highlights a critical weakness in decentralized finance. The responsibility for monitoring is distributed, but coordination between different parties can be lacking. In a traditional financial system, multiple layers of oversight might have caught this discrepancy within hours. In DeFi, the very decentralization that provides benefits also creates blind spots. When the hack was finally discovered, it sent shockwaves through the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. Axie Infinity's token price plummeted, and confidence in blockchain bridges was severely shaken. Mavis faced not just financial losses, but potential legal liability to thousands of users who had funds locked in the bridge. Meanwhile, Lazarus Group began the complex process of laundering their stolen funds. They used sophisticated mixing services and chain-hopping techniques to obscure the money trail, converting portions of the stolen cryptocurrency through various exchanges and services. Mavis eventually secured $150 million in funding to reimburse affected users, but the recovery process took months. They completely rebuilt their validator system, implemented additional security measures, and underwent extensive security audits. The Ronin Bridge eventually reopened, but with significantly enhanced security protocols. Law enforcement agencies across multiple countries began tracking the stolen funds, leading to some recoveries and arrests of individuals connected to the money laundering operations. However, the core Lazarus Group operatives remained beyond the reach of international law enforcement. The Ronin Bridge hack teaches us several critical lessons about cryptocurrency security. First, decentralization doesn't automatically mean security. Centralized points of failure can still exist even in distributed systems. Second, human vulnerabilities often trump technical security measures. Third, the speed and scale possible in digital attacks require equally sophisticated monitoring and response systems. This hack forced the entire DeFi ecosystem to reconsider security practices. Many bridges now implement additional safeguards, including time delays for large withdrawals, multiple independent monitoring systems, and more rigorous security protocols for validator management. What other major cryptocurrency hacks would you like to see covered? Drop your suggestions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into cybersecurity and cryptocurrency. The digital world is full of incredible stories of both brilliant security and devastating failures. In the world of cryptocurrency, the line between innovation and vulnerability is often thinner than we'd like to believe. Until next time, stay secure.